Testing, testing. People can hear me now? Oh, I think it was too loud. Let me turn that down a little bit. How does the sound, guys? Problem, my microphone wasn't being recognized, and so I had to delete it and re-add it. And then when it re-adds at full volume. So sorry if I shattered some windows out there. I think we're good to go now. All right, so yeah, let's continue from last week. So what I've got going here is a caricature, and it's of a person who is famous. Um, the first person to guess who it's a caricature of wins a free copy of my plugin Ryan's Tools, a $20 value. So look alive. I'm gonna keep sculpting on this. Hopefully somebody will guess it today. Nobody guessed it last time, and I totally see why now. Looking at this with fresh eyes, there's some changes I need to make to this to make it look more like him. So I'm going to start, massaging this caricature sculpt, and hopefully it'll end up looking more like him soon. And then, yeah, hopefully then people will guess it. If nobody's guessed it by like within an hour, maybe hour and a half, I'm going to start giving like more clues as to who this is. It's somebody, well, the clues I have given already is that it's somebody who's not super famous, but they're also not like super obscure either. They're kind of like a rising name. Um, and they're a real person and they are currently alive. So that's what we have to work with right now. And my caricature, which is honestly not my favorite work that I've done. So yeah, I'm gonna get moving on this. And if anybody has questions, feel free to shout them out in the chat. I'm always typing in the chat here. And yeah, let's get moving with it. Also, I don't know why it says this is Eric Keller sculpting insects. I changed it. Like last week, I changed it to my name and it updated, but this week it didn't. So I don't know why. So is it saying that for everybody else? Insect sculpting with Eric Keller? Or is it updated to being caricature sculpting with Ryan Kittleson? Anyway, let's just dive right in and get back into this. This will be my last live stream before the holidays, since I'm heading out at and just like next Wednesday for the holidays. Anybody traveling anywhere interesting? I feel like I need to totally smooth out this whole section. There's a question from Abiyu. What software do I use to showcase my final workflow? I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. Like, what software do I use to render? I mean, my final workflow. Do you mean what portfolios do I use? I'm not quite sure I understand. Oh, to render. Actually don't do a lot of rendering. If it's for a client or I want to render something, I'll use just whatever's easiest, Keyshot or like just write in ZBrush with the Redshift renderer now. Um, but honestly, I don't really like enjoy rendering very much. I don't like it. It's just not what I do. So yeah, it's just whatever is easiest. I mean, I've also done stuff like in Maya, so I'll use like their Arnold renderer or Mental Ray back before Arnold. Hey, Austin's World. Yeah, beginner on Blender. I mean, Blender is a complicated software. There's a lot going on there. So yeah, don't beat yourself up for getting frustrated, but practice definitely will help. I mean, hopefully you enjoy practicing, hopefully you enjoy just getting in there and figuring things out, and really that's how you're going to make progress over time. Hey, Akinmaya, welcome. When I was sculpting this guy before, I totally neglected to get his like dimple crease. He's got this nice dimple crease right there. Hey, Blue Phoenix 34, welcome. And a reminder to anybody who wasn't here when I said it, but this is a caricature of a mystery person. The first person to guess correctly who this is wins a free copy of my plugin, Ryan's Tools. If you want to learn more about Ryan's Tools, I'm going to type in the chat here the link to it. So you can go learn more about it there. But basically, it's my plugin that I wrote for ZBrush. Um, does a lot of really cool things, just things that speed up your workflow, things that make things easier, um, things that just simplify complicated tasks or gives you features that you don't have with vanilla ZBrush. So I know it speeds up my workflow tremendously. Grix Art second. I am still sculpting. There's still a lot of sculpting work that needs to be done with this guy, especially to bring out his likeness, because I really wasn't getting it before. Hey, Aman, thanks a lot. So there's a question from Gambita Misteriosa asks if there's a way to connect geometry other than Dynamesh and Bridge Tool. Yeah, there's a few other ways you could do that, actually. Ha, it does look like Kramer. Actually, I was joking about that last week. I was like, it kind of looks like somebody else. I just need to do this with the hair. Is anybody getting it? And even after I did that, nobody got it. But yeah, it does kind of look like Kramer. So yeah, going back to Gambita Misteriosa's question, um, there are different ways to combine geometry. One of the biggest ways to do it is with Booleans. So you make a folder with your objects you want, and then in the folder options, you can Boolean them together. Or there's a couple other ways to do it as well. You can do it with the gizmo menu here. You can go to remesh by union, which if there's multiple objects in one subtool, like multiple shells, multiple pieces of geometry in one subtool, remesh by union, actually let me move the cursor down a little bit so you can actually see that. Remesh by union will fuse those together um, with a Boolean operation, basically. Hey, Patrick 40, thanks a lot. So remember to be guessing who this could be. You want to win a copy of Ryan's Tools, I'm sure. It is a celebrity. Actually, I wasn't. Well, yeah. Okay, so I will give you that hint. It's a celebrity of the entertainment industry. I was going to make it like yeah, okay, I'll give everybody that hint. Originally it was supposed to be kind of ambiguous whether it was a politician, entertainment industry, something like that, author. But yes, it is someone in the entertainment industry. My tools, Scroll Reaper, are not mainly for 3D printing, although there are some 3D printing tools in there. There's tools for hollowing out models for 3D printing or for giving objects very specific thicknesses. Um, so there are some 3D printing tools. There's also tools for like a trash bin, right? Like in ZBrush, if you want to delete a subtool, you it's just gone forever, right? And it gives you this annoying pop-up every time asking if you really want to delete it. And so with if you use delete in Ryan's tools, it's called I think it's Smart Delete. Let me open that up. Boom. I have a hotkey for it, so yeah. So it's trash, right? And so it's like a smart trash. So when you use it, it will just delete a subtool, but it puts it in a trash bin tool, right? And then you can undelete it. Um, you go to untrash, right? It just takes whatever was deleted most recently and pulls it out of the trash. So if you accidentally delete something, you can bring it back. And then you can also trash small objects. So anything that's the size of the current subtool and smaller will just go to the trash, which is really helpful a lot of times if you're doing like Booleans. Um, Sometimes it'll leave like little tiny shards of you know polygons lying around, so you can trash those. And the cool thing about trash is that if you've masked something off like that, for example, and you use it, it'll just delete whatever's masked. and then just undoing to bring that back. Or if you've got something selected like that and use it, it'll delete what's hidden. And so it knows if you've got a mask, it knows if you've got a selection, or if you don't have that, it'll just delete the whole subtool. So really useful stuff. And we've just got it on a hotkey, Control X, which is just, really intuitive, and it just works. So you can see here in Ryan's tools, there's a lot of stuff. There's these easy primitives, just a really quick way to pop a new object into your scene. Um, and then there's like all kinds of things just to help with color and subdivision, symmetry and instances, working with the gizmo. So all kinds of cool stuff. My system, I'm on a Windows computer. It's a laptop. It's like a high-end gaming laptop. So I've got 32 gigs of RAM, the top end processor and video card that you can get in a PC laptop. Yeah, why is it doing that? There we go. That's what I wanted. I get his lower lip to kind of bulge and curl a little bit more. Might end up just reconstructing it anyway. Yeah, it's really interesting looking at this caricature with fresh eyes. Like last week I was sculpting it kind of from scratch and wasn't getting some of the things very well, with the anatomy. And kind of looking at it again now with fresh eyes, it's like, okay, yeah, I see much better what needs to be done with this. I question from Scroll Reaper, do I usually hollow my prints out? If I am 3D printing them, usually yes, although some 3D printers don't need or even like prints to be hollowed. So yeah, it depends. Keep those guesses coming. You can't win if you don't play, you know? Who is this? I don't know who Todd Howard is, but glad somebody's guessing. Yeah, I made the smile much less pronounced than it was. How many points? I mean, how many active points do I have in my scene? About 2 million. Not very much. Still kind of in a really kind of a rough sculpting phase, honestly. It is not game industry celeb. Oh, see, now you tricked me into giving away another hint, specifying what part of the entertainment industry. You trickster, you. No more trickery. I think that was too much. kind of tricky, like trying to rework the anatomy on the second day of sculpting, where it's like, oh yeah, I see all the things I got wrong, and now I have to like work against what I've already done in order to get it where it needs to be. But yeah, that's part of the job of a sculptor, I guess. That's what I signed up for. Yes, Grixart, that is my custom gizmo. Um, it is also part of Ryan's Tools Pro. So if you win it or buy it, you'll definitely get to use that little doozy. I do have an art station. Yeah, you can just search my name, Ryan Kittleson. Just typing it into the chat here. I don't have very much on my art station though, but I need to update it. I just haven't felt like updating it in a long time. You know what? I think he needs more chin. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what he needed. Well, he needed more chin, but now it makes him look a little too manly, you know, a little too. Now he needs more forehead, actually. Yeah. Yeah, let me give him more forehead. Another thing that's in Ryan's tools is this gradient mask. So you can draw a mask that's in a gradient. All right, I think it's definitely looking much more like him now than it was before. Still not sure if anybody's gonna get it, but it's looking more like him. Yeah, this face is being made currently with Dynamesh, yes. Yep, I'll do retopology and subdivide eventually at some point. I'm gonna do a little trick. I'm gonna combine. Yeah, let me do a T-pose on this guy. Transpose master, because I want to do a deformation on all of the subtools at once. So let's go here to the gizmo stuff. And we'll turn on deformer hard. We'll just make this a really simple box. I'll just kind of like stretch it out like that. I'm going to hide the eye when I do that. Oh, actually, it doesn't work when you've got things hidden. Never mind. Stretched out my eyeballs though. Put the eyeballs back where they were, and then just move them individually. It is not Andy Dick. There's still something about this face that's just really not landing as a caricature yet. Can't quite figure out what it is. Oh, I didn't see your question, Visual Ether. So you wish there was a small dot at the gizmo center to see the exact vertex placement. So, so I do have a dot. I'm not sure if this is the dot you're referring to, but there is that dot right at the center of the gizmo. I'm not sure if you see it, but there is actually a dot right at the center. It's kind of small. Maybe it's hard. Maybe it's too small. So the material is a custom material that I made. It's called Skin Ball. It's part of Ryan's tools. So if you want my special material, then better get yourself a copy of Ryan's tools. Hey, yeah, it's hard to read your Hannibal's Z sculptor. Blue on blue text, it's hard to read. But yeah, if you have any questions, yeah, just let me know. It is not Adam Godley. I don't know who that is, but that's not who it is. Color Stars asks if I can recommend a, digital pen tablet. I use a Wacom. It's like their Intuos Pro. I've had it for 6, 7, 8 years, 8 years now. Um, and it's mostly works fine, but there are some issues with it. And I've heard that there's a new competitor to Wacom, Zens Labs with an X, and I've heard much better reviews from that. See, the problem with Wacom tablets is for a long time they were like the only tablet in the market, and so they got lazy and like they have problems with their drivers. Like their drivers keep uninstalling themselves, or the tablet will just not work, and you have to reboot or you have to unplug it and replug it. And apparently, from what I've heard, the Zens Labs tablets don't have any of these problems. I mean, I haven't used it myself, so I don't know. But Wacom, they also charge a lot of money, and I think they just got lazy. So I've heard that the next best option is Zen Slabs. Reset screen? I'm not sure what you mean, Hannibal, by reset screen, but yeah, there can be issues with how you add anything custom into ZBrush. I was just running into that myself, actually. Um, yes, I do have a reference for this model. It's just photos of the guy, but I didn't do like a drawing of a caricature of him. Or I'm not using a drawing of a caricature. I'm just looking at like real photos, and then I'm sort of coming up with the caricature in ZBrush. Oh, did my sound go away for a while? Well, it seems like it's back. Okay, so we're almost at the hour mark. I want to give some more hints. This person is a stand-up comedian. Hey, Lavender. Glad you could make it. Nobody has guessed yet who this is, but I did just give a major hint that they are a stand-up comedian. Yes, Lavender, you won. It's Amy Schumer. Oh, dang. In case anybody's didn't get the sarcasm, it is not Amy Schumer. So any tips for caricature, like how I exaggerated the parts or the ratio I'm maintaining? Really, it just comes down to feel, right? Like I just feel what looks right. But there is kind of like some principles of caricature where if you like there's opposite parts, right? There's like the top of the head to the bottom of the head. If you make the top of the head big, make the bottom of the head small. If you make the mouth big, make the eyes small, or vice versa. Um, so so that's part of what I'm thinking about with how I do this. Another question from Hannibal. The other question by using reference. Yeah, using images, like directly lining up your your art with an image, um, is always a problem, especially if you're using photos that weren't specifically made with the purpose of being reference photos, because there's always perspective in the photos, and it's hard to match that perspective in ZBrush, and that causes all kinds of issues. And so um, I generally I don't try to line up reference images in my sculpture and like try to like, line it all up perfect and just match it exactly because it's just so often not possible to get it perfect. It's not possible to match the camera angle perfectly. It's not possible to match the perspective perfectly. And so, really the skill you want to develop is just being able to look at a reference image like on a separate monitor and just develop that feel, that artistic sense of like, okay, is this the right shape or not the right shape? Is this the right proportions or not the right proportions? And you just kind of work it and work it, and it takes effort, it takes time to internalize all that, anatomy and shape and proportion and all that. But if you keep at it, you can get good at it for sure. Question from Tattoon. How do I distinguish between a cartoon representation and a caricature of the same individual? From my perspective, I mean, there's some overlap, but a cartoon is definitely going to be like simple, made out of simpler shapes, right? Like primitives. So it's going to be just a much simpler shape. Like kind of the head is just going to be one big oval shape, maybe, and the nose is going to be like one big another oval shape sticking out of that. So it's just like really simple shapes. Caricature, I mean, a cartoon version of a person is a caricature of them. Um, but I like caricatures that are more detailed, like be kind of more stylized, like kind of like more like realistic detail and anatomy, but just pushed in a more exaggerated direction. But that's how I like to do caricature. But there's like, caricature is pretty broad art form. You can take it in a lot of different directions. I think the caricature that inspires me the most is from this British show called Spitting Image. I recommend looking that up. It's like real, like foam caricature heads, and then they do this like parody TV show with those heads, and they make fun of British politicians mostly. But the way that they caricature is like super hilarious to me. It is not Michael Richards, but that's a good guess. It's not Ty Burrell. No, unfortunately, color stars, I don't know of any way to show my keyboard buttons unless I like pointed another camera at them. But I use so many hotkeys, like custom hotkeys, that even if you saw what keys I was hitting, it wouldn't really tell you much about what tools I'm actually using. Tattooed, yeah, your comment about caricature artists adding a lively touch sounds like you ran it through you asked chat GPT to write a comment about caricatures and how they're currently being used. Did you actually use ChatGPT to come up with that comment? Oh, I had a sneeze come on, and I muted my mic so that you guys didn't have to get sneezed on, and then the sneeze went away. So the material I'm using, it's a custom material I made. It's called Skin Ball, and that is part of Ryan's Tools Pro. It's been cool to see, like every once in a while you see like behind the scenes, footage from movies and stuff, and they'll show some CG artist working in ZBrush, and every once in a while they'll be like using my plugin, my materials or Gizmo or something. They'll see it on the screen and it'll be like, oh wow, they used they used my tools there at in the latest Jurassic Park movie or whatever it is. The Pro version works in version 2024 of ZBrush, but it has not been updated for that version. So I'm using, obviously I'm using my Pro version of my plugin, and it works just fine in 2024. Other principles and concepts for caricature. Yeah, like it's kind of like it's putting, the face halfway between a cartoon and realistic portraiture, right? And so you're looking for ways to simplify the anatomy at least a little bit, like or add or make the curvature like a little bit more stylized, right? And so like I try to find like interesting shapes, right? Like the way that curve goes around that nose, for example, like just trying to make it appealing and not like perfectly anatomical, but like a stylized simplification of reality. Or like the ears, for example, like just trying to find ways to simplify shapes just a little bit. It's also fun to just kind of move things around and see if that changes the likeness or not. I liked moving the eyebrows down just a little bit. feel like this comedian is always like tilting his head to the side. Maybe it'll help you recognize him if I do that. Well, let's see. I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna make his microphone. Oh yeah, that's something, Hannibal, that I've been asking for a long time from ZBrush is to like have two like viewports, two canvases, like one with a locked camera, and then that could be like the redshift render, so it's always just rendering in that viewport, and then the other viewport is like your working canvas. Yeah, I would love that so much. I just have like it all tear off, right? So you can tear it off and put it in a separate monitor. Like all the UI stuff, it should be like tear off panels that you can just position wherever you want. I mean, come on, right? Just going to try to project this plane onto that sphere. See if we can make a microphone this way. Project all. Didn't project far enough. Let's see. This is turning into a horrible microphone. There we go. That's closer to what I was looking for, and then I can just delete. No. Oh, come on. Color stars, I'm afraid that question is outside of my expertise. Let's see, how do we put like a microphone pattern on there? I guess that'll work. I was hoping there would be a different one. I guess I can just add thickness to this. All right, we kind of got a microphone going there. What do we know this comedian from? His specials? His comedy? I don't know what else to tell you. He hasn't been well, actually, no, he was in a movie. He had a very small like, cameo in a movie that I know of. It was one of the first things actually that kind of like put him in the spotlight. Was a small cameo in a movie where he played himself. Oh, you know what? I know another detail I can put on that might make this a little bit more obvious. Um, it's neither particularly recent or old. Um, let's see. Let's get some fiber mesh on there. Whoa, too much beard. That's better. If I put a background color that helps pop out the silhouette a little bit more. So, still nobody getting it? All right, well, I'll give you another hint because we don't have a lot of time left, but you did guess New York guy. I don't know if he's slow talking. I don't think he's slow talking, but he is a New York guy. I would sculpt his hand, but I only have less than or a little bit more than 30 minutes left to go, and it's kind of hard to pull out a hand in such a short amount of time. Otherwise, but it's kind of weird if there's just a microphone floating there with no hand holding it, right? You know what? I'll just grab a hand quick from the super average man or whatever. I'll just steal this hand. Let's say they say that a quick way to see if the hand is correct if you put your hand up to your chin, the wrist at the chin, the middle finger will come up to the brow. So it's pretty close. Or just a little bit smaller. Actually, because it's a caricature, I'll probably make the hands even extra small. Of course, I have to bend all these fingers one by one. What a... Whoa! It is Sam Morrill. Good guess. All right, Hannibal Sculptor, you won. And it was the hand that did it, right? It was that hand totally is screaming Sam Morrill, right? All right, good job. So all you have to do, Hannibal Sculptor, is send me an email. There's my email. And yeah, just so that I have an email to send the free copy of Ryan's tools to. Yeah, the facial hair. I'm kicking myself I didn't do that sooner. But then again, it's like if you put on this facial hair too soon, then you like need to change the shape of the chin or whatever. Then you have to change the hair to match. Blah blah blah. Anyway, congratulations, Hannibal Sculptor. You win. Question from Mugen360. If you have a picture and want to paint my 3D with it, yes, you can project pictures onto 3D models. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But yeah, using the I guess the light box, no, the spotlight. Spotlight. You can bring in, let's see, um, bring in images and project them onto your models. So yeah, it's not too hard. Just look up how to use the spotlight. What a coincidence that the restream gave a congratulations right after somebody won the prize of guessing who this is. It is Sam Morrill. Let me show you guys the reference I've been looking at for this. So, did I get it? Well, I got it good enough so that somebody was able to guess it. I suppose that's mission accomplished, right? But yeah, I had to do a lot of tweaking to the face to make it believable because where I started today, ooh, not good stuff. But anyway, Sam Morril, he's one of my favorite comedians. He's really funny, like on YouTube and stuff. Cool. Well, we've got a winner, and I didn't like how that hand was turning out. Let's keep working on the hand here. Let's use the anchors brush for this. I have a new feature, anchors brush. It's a little clumsy. Kind of wish it would keep it in the same plane because like if you pick over here, it does like weird twisting things. Anyway, hopefully that's enough to grip a microphone. Let's see here. So the prize is a free copy of my plugin Ryan's Tools. Oh yeah, I had to look up Andrew Schulz. Yeah, he does look a little bit like him. Well, these hands are going to definitely take more work than I have time for, but I guess I can get them at least a little bit in place. don't have a lot of practice time yet with the new anchors brush, so it's kind of clumsy right now. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna have the pinky kind of supporting underneath the mic. Wow, that hand looks terrible. Whoops. All right, I'll try to bust out a shirt really quick for him so he doesn't look so awkward. Actually, these are caricature proportions, so shrink his body down. Yeah, the gizmo is pretty great. Yeah, there's definitely no way I'm gonna get this shirt looking good than we have remaining, but hey, at least it's something. Give him a little pedestal so it doesn't look like 100% awkward the way it's just cut off. Huh. I'm just like totally speed sculpting this shirt, not even paying like the slightest attention to how it should really be made. Anyway, let's mostly ignore everything below this line, shall we? Yeah, so that is pretty much where I'm gonna get this to. Thanks for joining, everybody. Good job, Hannibal. Guessing who this is, Amaryl. Check out his comedy, of course. He's actually my favorite, one of my favorite comedians. That and Duncan Trussell. Anyway, hope everybody enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great holiday season, and I'll be putting some dates on the calendar for more sculpting in January. So hope everybody is having a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.